Bonjour, mon nom est Ian, or to many of you, hello, my name is Ian. I today will be talking to you about the culture of France, one of the biggest countries in Europe currently. Today, my main talking points, I will be discussing their food, which is very well known amongst the French people, art, and their social interactions. Beginning with food, as I said before, France is definitely known by its food. It's a very popular source for the country, as well as their types of etiquettes, and as well as the types of food that they have. Many of you seeing the kind of things that come out of France would think, well, that is very expensive food and it is very elegant. But in fact, many of the dishes that they have come from very simple peasant origins. Thanks to Serious Eats for providing these recipes, I will be describing the main ingredients for a soufflé, a tian, and a French onion soup. I will also be describing kind of how they come from the peasant origins. The soufflé, the height of cuisine in general for most culinary arts. The soufflé, when you look at it, is really all about how you beat eggs. It's not really about the ingredients too much. It's all about the technique that you have. It has very simple ingredients. It's basically eggs and milk, butter, and cheese. When you look back at the medieval origins, those were all very, very common things for most peasants at the time. As well as a tian. Many of you will also know it as a ratatouille from the movie. Its main basic ingredients are eggplant, squash, and tomato sauce. It's the only difference between most of it is the fact that it's cooked in an earthenware container. And finally, the French onion soup consists of onions, chives, beef broth, cheese, and bread. Those are the main basic components. Of course, you can change it by adding things like wine, but that, when you break it down, is its main basics. Looking back at the stated components of all ingredients, it's all simple things. It's all very simple in general. And these are some of the most well-known from France itself. Moving on to art. Art is a central idea for many French citizens, as well as for its culture. Art finds its way into the daily lives of French citizens through the public spaces they visit and even within their own homes. The French find and hold a level of artistic social requirements in all the buildings they construct. Walking through the street, you will see that there is intricate design in every building that they have made. As well as their home designs, also very carefully planned out. They focus on key, warm colors like yellows, creams, and tans. As well as they favor curved shapes, more natural things within the furniture that they have. And as well as they try to focus on more warm and comfort feelings. Things that will make you happy. They also prize worn out essence and a level of time within their art pieces, looking for things that are more worn out and memorable. In addition to the art in France, many of you know of the Louvre, which is the largest collection of art in the world. Holds famous pieces like the Mona Lisa and the Venus de Milo, and as well as even the Great Sphinx of Tani, which they removed from Egypt to France. French people hold a high level of art for these, which is why they put so much money into buildings like the Louvre. Finally, there's social interactions. Social interactions are also a key part of French culture. Common practices would include things like speaking with their hands. Although typically more seen as an Italian thing, French people do also speak a lot with their hands in how they describe things. As well as many French people will have very intense discussions. With America, you kind of have more civilized, more down kind of conversations. In France, things could get very heated on simple things. You should never take this, though, as an aggressive form of talking or discussing. It's always just simple, within fun, in a way. Finally, kisses. Many of you people know that kissing is also a very French thing. There's a few things about kissing now. Most of the time you will take hints from locals about which side of the cheek to kiss or who to kiss at what time. Typically though, men do not kiss other men unless they are very well known, whether it be close friends or family members. Typically, children will always expect a kiss on the cheek, on both, when you meet them for the first time or just when you meet them. Women will often let you know when they require a kiss on the cheek by sticking their cheek out towards you. As well as a fun thing, it's not even really a kiss most of the time. Most of the time they will just lightly brush their lips against your cheek and make a kissing noise. And finally, marriage. Marriage is not a very big thing for the French. In fact, I don't remember what it is called, but they do have a different form of marriage where it is less serious. And in fact, they can even have children during this and break it off at any point without any social repercussions. And although French culture hasn't been a very big part of my family's history, I decided to do it because I figured it would be very interesting, and I have found it very interesting. And I'll hope that you guys found some of it interesting just as I have.
So I never really knew where my ancestors were from or what nationalities I had until after doing my personal interview with my mother, Angie Dorn, and my father, Tony Dorn. When I found out I had Germany on both my mom and my dad's side, I wanted to learn more. So today I am going to talk about the rich, hearty foods they have, the amazing traditions they partake in, and the holidays they celebrate, and how they dress. Many of their foods that are traditional for Germany are also very common in the United States. My family particularly eats some of these foods. One of the most used foods in Germany is actually pork. They use pork to make braised pork knuckles and pork stomach, which my family, we don't really eat those foods, but we do commonly eat pork for dinner. Another common food that my family and many other families eat are potatoes, whether they are mashed, twice baked, or my mom likes to put them in soup. The Germans use mashed potatoes to make Kartoffelpuffer, which is potato pancakes, and they also use the potatoes to make Kartoffellouise, which is potato dumplings. Another meat that is very popular in Germany is bratwurst, which is just grilled sausage. At my house, we tend to eat bratwurst and hot dogs with fries on the weekend, which is usually like a normal, easy dinner to make. Germans tend to use cabbage, beets, turnips to cook dishes like these because they are grown in Germany, but my family prefers not to eat them. Now, there's also a long tradition of bread making that Germans partake in, and they have very much pride in it. These breads take different shapes, different colors like black and white, with different tastes like sweet or plain, and they usually use different types of seeds for it. Germany has many traditions, though. One of the main ones is their language that they speak. Whether it's Standard German or any of its dialects, they also identify 4 minor languages, which are Upper and Lower Siberian, Romani, Danish, and Saterland Francis. But because of the high number of immigrants, there are also languages like Turkish, Kurdish, Russian, Greek, Polish, and many others. German has symbols that also are changed throughout the different phases in history that shaped its cultures and traditions. Where it all started was the black eagle, where this was the symbol during the Romanian Empire. But today, the most known symbol for the country is their black, red, and gold flag. Another tradition that happens during weddings. Its tradition is that the bride carries bread and salt with her as like an omen to represent food harvest, while the groom is supposed to carry grain to represent good luck and health. The Germans really like to celebrate. They have carnivals and festivals where whole cities engage in all-out party, celebration, and they have street parades of people wearing costumes and masks. The carnivals have a long history in Catholicism, which makes sense since Christianity is the dominant religion in Germany. Germany has many of the same holidays that we celebrate in the U.S., but they also have a lot of unique ones as well. One big one is Epiphany, which is also known as the Three Kings Day. This holiday is a major Christian celebration alongside of Christmas and Easter, which they also celebrate. It is supposed to mark the end of Christmas, where the three wise men arrived with gifts for baby Jesus. On March 4th, they celebrate the holiday called Franching, which marks the carnival season. On October 8th, they celebrate the Day of Germany Unity, which commemorates the Germany reunification in 1990, after the fall of the Berlin Wall. This is celebrated with a festival around the Brandenburg Gate, where they do horseback riding, karaoke, dice games, theater performances. This holiday is hosted by a different city in Germany each year. Now, the clothes that they wear are very specific to their country. The men, that they like to wear lederhosens, and the women, they like to wear dirndls. Lederhosens, which means leather trousers in Germany, are short leather pants worn by men. They are knee-length and historically worn by working class men. The dirndl is a ruffled apron dress worn by women with a blouse and shirt underneath. The dirndl in the 19th century was the standard uniform of servant girls. These garments were worn to help identify people as members of a certain class, but nowadays they wear them for celebration. In conclusion, after learning my ancestries were from Germany, I was able to learn about them and was able to inform you about their food, traditions, holidays, and their clothing, and see how many similar things there are that are also done in my life as well.